Welcome, everyone. I am so excited. Really, this was something that I resisted, I have to tell you, for a long, long time, because just as probably the last, well, it's a long time to me, at least the last 6 months, I had this, well, I don't want to call it a calling because that sounds so, I don't know, out there, but just always this nagging that I needed to form a group of spiritual, like-minded people. And so I thought, I don't want to be part of like any cult or anything weird like that, because it kind of felt like cultish, and that's one thing that I can't stand. I want everyone to have freedom of thought, be who they are, and honor and be proud of who they are, not follow someone else's ideas, a cult per se, and you have to do this, you have to do that. No, this is just all about our freedoms, being who we are, but most of all, more than anything, growing spiritually, because you've heard me say this time and time again, and it is a fact. We are here to grow spiritually, whether we attest to that or follow the rules that help us with this growth, but that is our purpose. That is our divine purpose. So we're going to talk about different ways, tools, and techniques that are going to help you in your spiritual progress. So let me just say this. If you are here, you're supposed to be here. And we are going to really come together with like-mindedness. And I know all of you are searching for the truth. Now, in the world today, we don't know what the truth is. There's so much going on that's trying to control our minds or make us think something for one thing and it's really the other. But we're not going to worry about that, because what we're going to worry about in this class is our light, because that is the purity of who we are. And as a Vedic astrologer, which I'll tell you, I got into astrology, gosh, when I was actually a teenager when I really got into it, seriously. But I got into it for the sole purpose to grow. Because what I learned from astrology, and let me remind everyone, you don't have to know astrology to be here, so don't worry about that. But astrology was a tool for me to find who I really was. And ultimately, when you really do discover who you really are, you're going to be amazed, because, I don't say this lightly, but you are the light of God. All of us are. And all of us put together that light, that spirit that's within us, that is the divinity of God, makes up humanity. We're just all lost right now. We don't know, we can't see this fact of who we really are. So my intentions with this course is to wake us up to who we really are. And when you really know who you are, and that's what I loved about astrology. Astrology says, know thyself, and you will know everything about the universe, everything. So you think, you have to go to science classes, astronomy classes, all these classes. No, when you realize who you truly are, this knowingness opens the mind to more than what is the pragmatic physical mind. This is the all-seeing mind, and this is being connected to the divine. And we're all that. And imagine this. If you really know who you are, and that's what we're going to be doing here in this class, definitely opening up to this. So, and you might even wonder why we have it on the day that we have it. I'm going to inform you for everything that's about to happen. But when you know yourself and you realize who you really are, absolutely 100%, there is nothing you can't do. Nothing. You can heal your body, you can heal your mind, you can heal your family, and you can heal the planet. When I say healing, I mean, not necessarily just when we think of healing, we think of health, but I'm talking about healing the mind, the emotions, the consciousness. People that are wrapped up into their emotions are wrapped up in the past. because you're always judging things from your emotional body, which is judging everything from your past experience. We're going to learn how to let that go so that we can be pure from the light. So as I said, I love the fact that Vedic astrology, which is the astrology from India, and I got into it because of the great gurus of India. I discovered back in the 70s that there was a different astrology than Western, called Vedic astrology. And actually, the term Vedic came years later because it's really Indian astrology. But Vedic astrology, the reason why they call it that is because there's the most ancient references to astrology through the ancient Vedas. And they talk about the nakshatras, which is Indian astrology. So we're not going to get into all of that today, especially. But what I want you to realize is astrology and a lot of these metaphysical tools that we have today are simply about discovering who we really are and what we're really here doing. Why are we here? Hasn't that been a question that's plagued you your whole life? That's why I got into all of this. Here we are, nobody knows why, but it's crazy. But let's discover it together. Let's work together. And I'm going to bring on some amazing speakers. You're going to be amazed with some of the people that have really a connection to the divine and are going to help us all get there. So let me tell you a little bit about what my class format is going to be about. First of all, I'm telling you, I had this calling to do this, so I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm doing it just because I've had a voice or a knowingness say, you have to do this. So I'm doing this. And everyone that's here today, I am so honored to have you here. Every single one of your light-seeking souls, so beautiful. You are supposed to be here, as I said, if you're here. And another thing is, you know, this is something that I always have to remind myself of because the world seems so dark at times. And, you know, you put on the news and you gasp and you think, what's going on in this world? And everybody says, don't turn it on. But I like to see if my predictions are happening, right? And the only way is I can see the news. But every time I see anything dark or negative or difficult happening in the world, such as this war that's going on, I always remind myself everything happens for a reason, everything. And it's always, even though we can't see it at the time at all, it's always for a good reason. Because everything that is difficult in our life gives us the opportunity to grow. So it's all about growth. It's all about finding our spirit, remembering who we really are. And one thing is, we are not separate from each other. We feel like we are. And when you do feel that essence of being separate from each other, you definitely have fear. And we don't need to fear anymore because we're not separate. We're going to work on all of our mindsets and how we got here and what we can do about it. So another thing is what we're going to do. Here's the format of the class. We're going to look at the chart for each week for the day so that we know what's going on astrologically. And I'm going to find the growth producing aspects of what's going on in the chart. And like I said, you don't have to understand astrology. I just want to bring that up each week to see what's going on astrologically. And then we will see what we need to be working on according to the stars, because the stars are our guidance. They really are. When you look up the heavens and you think, oh my God, I cannot believe where we really are. When I think about where we really are, we're on this planet in the universe. And what's really weird to me, consider this, the planet's circular. How in the world do we stay on the sides of a circular planet? That's like beyond my comprehension, but we are. We're on this planet that's circular on the sides. It's spinning through space. It's spinning around the sun. And we have these lives that we don't even realize the totality and the reality of where we are in this vast, and let me tell you something else, this universe is endless. There is no end to it. We can't understand any of these concepts. Why? Because all we know is being born and dying. So all we know is beginning and end. There is no end. Everything is endless. It's universal. So these are all concepts that we can't really understand because our minds are so finite. There is, these are our minds. What we're talking about is infinite. And this is when we really, really come to the conclusion of who we really are. It's infinite, no separation. This is, and I've gotten tons of answers, and I'll share a lot of my metaphysical experiences with you because I've been seeking this as a young girl. I've had many, many metaphysical experiences that prove all the aspects of what I'm talking about. I've been there, I've experienced it, I've seen it, and I've talked to people on the other side. They've given me such valuable information. But one thing they did say, you can't really understand because of your mind. It's so limited in the thought process that you can understand. Now, once we really open through some of the tools and techniques I'm going to give you, you'll realize all these truths as well. And I know many of you already do. But so the format is going to be, we're going to look at a chart. We're going to do all this today. And the second thing I want everyone to do together, we'll do this actually first before we open the chart. We're going to make an intention of what we want out of this class. I want to say this, intention is everything. Maybe you're doing something, but what's the intention behind it? That's the reality of what you're going to create. And that is the most important thing. And if you're foggy about the intention, make it so that you come up with something that's not foggy. What do you want out of this class? I don't care if it's more money or a happy family or a relationship or enlightenment or all of the above. Really and truly, we all want all of the above. Don't be afraid to say it. We want all these things. And I believe that the divine of God wants us all to be happy. Doesn't want us here suffering and, fearful and all the terrible things that we are focusing in on for most of the time during the day. No. Whenever you talk to somebody who went down that tunnel of, as they are passing from the body, but they came back to tell us about it, every single one of them said there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and that this light was all love, unconditional love. That's the God that we want to connect to. That is the reality of the divine, the God, unconditional love. And that is what we're here to experience, not all the fear and the loss and the lack. No, we're going to experience what the divinity of the God wants us to have here. And that is unconditional love. And as I always say, and we're going to practice a lot of this, as I always say, what you're putting out, you are always going to get back. Always. That's actually a Buddhist philosophy that, what's within is without. So if your world is a mess, guess what? There's something you need to work on within, and we're going to do that. That's what these classes are about. And it's not about judging, oh, I'm not evolved enough, I'm not that. No, stop all this judgment. We are all here with the same intention, but I want you to make a very specific intention. And we're going to take a deep breath because I want to talk about breath work too. It's very powerful. And I always talk in terms of astrology, but as I said, I'll talk in terms of astrology so that you will and can understand, okay? And you know what? I want to talk to everybody here. I don't want to just be the one that's talking. So once I finish with my little, and between us, I don't plan things. I let the divine guide me and talk to me. So I just want this format, but I'm going to let the divine guide me to tell you what we need to work on and what we need to know. But I want to talk to everyone here as much as possible. So, you know, this is not just me talking or the speaker. I want to really relate to all of you, because you know what? This sounds very cliche, but I love people. I do. I really love people. That's why I love doing astrology and readings, because I get to connect to so many interesting people around the world and learn about their lives and their interests. And it's fun. I just really like connecting to people. So that's why I'm saying I want to meet all of you. So, but let me continue on with the format. So I want everyone to make an intention. We're going to take a deep breath all together. And and as we breathe, we're going to visualize our intention and visualize that we are that and we have it now. That's one thing is, and you know, I talk about the law of attraction, but really the law of attraction is what you put out there, you get back. And everything out there is a reflection in some way of us. It's trying to teach us, and that's our growth that's happening as we're here on planet Earth. So we're going to make our intentions, and then we're going to start class, look at the chart. Then I'm going to give you a lot of tools and techniques and let the divine guide me to what we need to hear today. And also then after a wonderful connection to what I'm hearing, we have to learn to grow spiritually, to be of the light. Nothing to do with all the conspiracy theories, but isn't it cool, really cool, that we're all together, that this is a group. Nobody on the outside is looking in at us and judging us like when we do YouTubes and all those things that are out there. People are, you know, we get all the trolls and everything. No, we have a very specific group with a purpose here. And that's what's going to make this so powerful, so powerful. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's all close our eyes for just a moment. We're going to take a very big deep breath. And when you take a deep breath, remember, breath is everything. The yogis say the way that you breathe reflects your consciousness. So people that breathe very, very shallow all the time, they're fearful. You know, when you're scared, you don't breathe deep. But when you do breathe deep, you really are cleansing the body. Breath is, like the yogis say, if you can change the way you breathe, you can change your consciousness. Now, that's not so easy. It sounds really easy. Okay, I'm going to deep breathe all the time and change my consciousness. No, your breathing reflects your consciousness. So the minute you're not thinking about it, you will go back to the level of breathing that reflects your consciousness. So I was going to say that I was thinking about breath work and all that it is. And, you know, reflecting back to the horoscope, the chart, I came to realize that in astrology, I always tell all my students, the third house is the most undervalued house in the chart. And what are the houses in astrology? They're different areas of our life. But the third house deals with our communications. It deals with our speaking. It deals with how we relate information to people. But when I really thought about it, the third house in astrology is relative to Mercury. Mercury rules the third sign, Gemini, which is all about talking and communicating and learning. But then I realized the third house also rules the lungs, because Gemini rules the lungs and the third house rules the lungs. And it made me realize that breath work really does control the way we think. Isn't that interesting? The third house is thinking, and it also rules the lungs. So made me realize that we can change the way we think through our breath. So all throughout the day, I want you to think about your breath and the way that you breathe. And, you know, don't judge it, just the way you're breathing. It's reflection of how you think. But I want to take a deep breath, and we're going to take it from the pit of your stomach, the bottom of your stomach. That's where you're breathing in. And you're breathing all the way in through, and I like to go through all the chakras, and I always visualize it as a bright iridescent light. And bring that light, breathe that light in, fill up the bottom of your belly, way down, and bring that light up all the way to the third eye and the crown chakra. And exhale, but you should always exhale through your nose. The nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating and talking. Okay, so use the nose. We can do this. Why don't we do this 3 times? Because 3 is the number that I love. It's the number of creativity. Plus, we're talking about the 3rd house. Don't you love that? How numbers and astrology and everything are all related, and they're all the truth that's here to teach us about ourselves. So we're going to do 3 breaths every time we start class, and we're going to visualize that light, and then we're going to continue on and look at the charts and see what we're here to do today. Okay, so follow with me. You don't have to make any noises. You can if you want, whatever, but let's breathe in. Okay, from the pit of our stomach, let's begin. Three times, one more, do it. This is the 2nd time. Let's do it one more time. But at this time, let's do it one more time. Think about your intention, and that this light is going to manifest your intention for your life, and it will reflect through all of us in the world. So one last breath. Okay, I'm complete with that. And now I want to show you something before we start with the chart, because I did this book many years ago, and we're going to have classes on doing this book if you like. I love this book. I made this book. This is called My Book of Symbols. I made it about 30 years ago. It's very dated with the pictures in it. But what I did was, and this was a project I actually put together at my my metaphysical center many years ago when it opened. My son, I was pregnant with my son, who's 27 right now. So that's exactly how long it was when I had my metaphysical center in Dallas. And I came up with this concept of making your own tarot cards. So what did I do? I went to Half Price Books, and I got boxes of old magazines, mainly a lot of National Geographic and things like that. And I went through all the magazines. I actually did it in a weekend. It's very fun and it's very healing. But I went through the book, went through all the pages, and I chose pictures that I thought had symbology in them. And then I took a plastic sheet. Let me show you, for example. I took a plastic sheet like this, a plastic sheet that I put in this binder, and I put a piece of white paper in it. And on both sides, I put one of the pictures that I found in the magazine that I thought had symbology. So I have about 300 pictures, and I use it sometimes when I have some of my old clients in person. After we finish a reading, I would have them open the book, and whatever pages they open to would represent an answer to their question. And it's probably one of the most profound tools. I have some of these pictures in here are unbelievable. But the whole reason why, we can talk about this as another day, creating your own book. And you know what, you can do this starting, you know, whenever you have time. It's a really fun thing. I call it kind of like my book of symbols, but it's like my own tarot cards. And I would have people open it 3 times, and each picture would tell a story to answer the question. But I opened the book yesterday for where this class was going to go, what this class was going to be like, and what was going to happen. And I have to share the screen and show you the picture. And I showed it to Shri. Shri's here, and it blew us both away. I'm not believing this. And let me share my screen and show you the picture that I pulled from my book. Okay, so, okay, there is the chart we'll go over next, but let me pull this up. What do y'all think about that picture? I mean,
guys, Joni sent this to me when I was driving. I was at a red light when I was looking at this. You know, it blew my mind, because the first thing I saw was the 2 pairs of feet on both sides. But then I started looking at it closer. And, you know, it's just amazing that this is the very first picture that you pulled up, Joni.
I know.
Joni, can you make it bigger?
Let me see. How can I make it bigger?
On the top, Joni, you see the zoom minus and the plus signs? There you go, right next to it.
Right next to what?
Where your cursor is. Yeah, go to the
right
left.
there.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, cool. I didn't know I could do that. All right, so, you know, I was looking, it's like, to me, this represents ascension, you know? That's what I think I see it as. But, you know, going through to, it looks like outer space, what's in there. And I see, like, it looks like people up here in, is somebody with a horn right there? I don't know.
Yeah. And then there's the moon, and then there are like three people who are like joining them.
Right. So, and
Looks like we're all searching.
Yes, but we're all rising too, to the higher dimensions. That's how I see it. And, you know, they talk about, you know, a lot of schools of thought talk about ascension. Ascension is when you change your vibrational frequency to a level that doesn't vibrate on this 3rd, 4th dimension anymore, and you ascend. In other words, you don't go through the death process. You just immediately go to the next dimension, because your vibrational frequency is so much higher than this dense frequency. So that's what ascension essentially is. And you know what they say? They say that the Mayan culture kind of disappeared, and they think they might have ascended. I don't know that that's true or not, but I've heard that. But this kind of looks Mayan to me too. These, I don't know, these designs here. Maybe not. Maybe it's, I don't know, but this is the weirdest thing. And I think this is what we're in for with this class, because, you know, every week we're going to be reminded. We can't fall back into our old patterns and ways. Every week we're going to be reminded to come to a higher level of consciousness and awareness in our lives. So that was the picture from my book. Okay, so maybe we'll do a picture every week. I don't know, it's what you guys want to do, but this was the picture for the entire series, what it's meant to do and what the future is with it. That's the picture I got. So let me shrink that. And here is the class. And actually I started the class at 11. I opened it up, but of course then, but nobody was on yet, because I kind of like the chart for 11 more than I did at noon. But regardless, I liked beginning this class because it has the moon conjunct Jupiter. And the moon in a chart is the most personal, really, part of a chart, because it represents our mind, our emotional body. And let me just say, our emotions are our way that we're going to heal. And I discovered that from astrology as well, because there are certain houses in the chart. And that's, you know, my way of teaching astrology is the houses are everything, because they, you know, they're they are the platform of the chart. So there are 3 houses in a chart that represent moksha. And moksha is spiritual liberation from this world. And, I was under, from all of my studies, reading from the great yogis and stuff, they always say you have to detach from this world to become spiritual. And I was like, how can I detach from the world? I've got children. I'm not going to detach from the world. I love life and I want to be, have children, have family, be connected to, people. I don't want to detach. So I struggled with that concept for so long till I discovered that in Vedic astrology, the houses 4, 8, and 12 are the houses of moksha. And if you know that the houses 4, 8, and 12, well, they're relative to the water signs, which are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Cancer is the 4th sign, Scorpio is the 8th sign, and Pisces is the 12th sign. And with that awakening of realization, what I realized from that was you can't experience moksha unless you let go of all your emotional issues, because water signs equate to emotion and feeling. And so then I made this realization, well, yeah, you do detach when you detach from all of your emotional issues from your past. And then that's what makes you clear and free from all the negativity. Because when we are so hooked in to, like resentments of someone that hurt us, and sometimes some of these things that people do to us, or our perceived perception of this, is unforgivable. How do you detach from that and let it go and say, I forgive you? You don't really. I don't care what they say in all the old concepts of religion. People hang on to their past emotions and thoughts. But when we come from a higher place where we know that that is a lesson for us to learn more about ourselves so that we can become more conscious, more aware, and rid ourselves of these past hurts that we hang on to. And therefore, I always say the past controls your future, because you won't let go of the things that you really were attached to, because the things that we really hang on and are so attached to are really and truly our past hurts, or should I say our resentments. And I was told one time while I was meditating, I asked the divine, I said, why do we keep reincarnating here all the time? And the answer I got was, because of your resentments. I was like, what? Resentments? There is more emotion attached to the feeling of resentment than anything else, than love even. You like, this person hurt me, and you want justice and you can't let go of it. Well, that's why you keep reincarnating, because you're here to heal that injustice, because that's what you want more than anything. But when we realize that that's what it's all about, and we're able to release those emotional past tie-ups, that's moksha. And that's why the houses in astrology that deal with emotion are the ones of moksha. So I thought that was such a beautiful realization I made. As a matter of fact, I made a whole course that I used to teach about the water signs and the water houses in moksha. So that's something I wanted to bring up, talking about, the moon. But let's go back over here and look at what this chart means, because I think this is so interesting. Well, the whole reason why I wanted to do this is because Jupiter's coming together with Neptune. And Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is abundance. Jupiter is the planet of luck and fortune, right? We all love Jupiter. We want to know Jupiter's doing something good to us, because that means we're going to be lucky. We're going to be fortunate. We're not going to suffer or have pain, for the most part. But Jupiter being next to Neptune, Neptune can go two different directions, two ways. Neptune can be about deception, delusion, and it's about the delusional aspects of this world, the things that aren't real, the illusions of this world, that we think everything here is real, but in the totality and the reality of infinity, it's just a fleeting second of time. And, you know, really astrology, probably when we pass to the next dimension, I don't know that there's even going to be astrology, because astrology is all about timing. But while we're here, it's, to me, the greatest tool we have. But thinking about Neptune and Jupiter coming together, this only happens like about every 12 years, because Jupiter goes through all 12 signs in the zodiac. So every 12 years, it will come to where Neptune is. But the last time that Jupiter was conjunct Neptune in the sign of Aquarius and Pisces. So, you know, it may come back in a different sign every 12 years, but when it comes back, makes a full circle. It wasn't, I think it was the year of 1856, the last time it was with Jupiter. I mean, it was in Aquarius and Pisces. And let me tell you what happened around that time. This was the time of the spiritualist movement. Because you know what? Neptune represents spirit. It represents the spiritual world. And yes, it represents things beyond this world, things that are not of this world. So Neptune's meaning means the illusion. But what it really means is uncovering the illusion, uncovering to the truth. So Jupiter coming together with Neptune can symbolize that we're going to come together with the realization of the truth. And I mean the spiritual truth, not just what's going on in the world or politics. I'm talking about the truth of who you really are. So I was thinking a lot about this aspect, and it made me think about forming this class. So the astrology is so important, because it's what really motivated me to have a class to inspire and empower people, because what's going on in the world is the exact opposite. But we're not going to worry about that anymore. We're going to think about our true nature, who we really are, and come from spirit to help heal ourselves and the world. We are spirit. We're not these physical bodies. These physical bodies don't last. But our physical bodies and everything that we are is some way a reflection of what we're here to learn from. So this was the main feature why I wanted to start this class. And we're going to be talking about this feature a lot, because as they get closer and come together, we're going to see some amazing things, not only in the world, but in our own life. But here's what else I thought was very significant about this day. It is right before we have the new moon in Pisces. So what is a new moon? A new moon is when the sun and the moon come together. That's it. And the full moon is when they oppose each other. You don't have to know much about astrology to just know when we have a new moon, you don't see it in the night sky, because it's obliterated by being by the sun. So you can't see it. And then every day in the phases of the moon, we get a sliver that keeps growing to the moon being waxing, which means it's growing in light. And then by the time we hit the full moon, then it's decreasing in light, and it goes back to the new moon. So what is a new moon? The new moon means new beginnings. It does. But usually, because the moon is so dark during a new moon, in other words, we don't see it rise in the night sky, we can't see it. Therefore, we can't see the potential that is being birthed. But look at this moon. It is behind the sun. It is like a few days before the new moon. I believe the new moon, the new moon is on April 1st. But the time period where the moon is behind the sun and it's very dark before the new beginning starts of the new moon, it is called a dark moon. In Vedic astrology, it's the worst time. So why would I start a class during the dark moon? Because in the darkness, that's where the light really comes in. So we're finishing up a phase, and this dark moon to me means it's time to let go of all that darkness that's within us. That's why I chose this time. It's time to let go of all of this darkness. And there's so many tools and techniques. I'll give you a couple today that we can work on ourselves to eliminate this darkness. Because you know what, we can say we're from the light, we're all light and all that stuff, but we have our shadow side while we're still here. And by realizing what it is, we can eliminate it. You know, we have to know what we're working on and what we're working with in order to heal it. It's like you got to know what your disease is in order to find a cure for it. So this dark moon, we're going to go within, and we're going to find what it is that we have been preventing in our world, in our life, based on our past hurts and awareness. Now let me go over. So this is like till April 1st, you're going to be able to see, bring out the things that are preventing you from your highest good, from your intention that you want. We're going to release it. And another thing I loved about this day was the moon is with Jupiter. The moon is with Jupiter and Neptune. The moon is so important. And actually the moon being in the nakshatra, these are abbreviations for certain nakshatras in Vedic astrology. Shatabhishak is the nakshatra that deals with the 100 healers. So we're here to heal during this time. This is the power of taking the astrology chart and using it to empower ourselves, not to sit there and go, oh, this is a bad chart. No. But what is coming up, which I did a video on, is the Saturn-Mars conjunction. That's going to happen around April 4th and 5th. And generally, when you put those two planets together, they don't like each other. They're enemies. So there will be something that will explode during this time. But that, whatever it is, we're going to look at it as how we can use that for our highest growth possible. So because you're working on yourself like this, I think we're going to protect ourselves from all of the ills that could be happening on our planet. Yes. I mean, how can, when you're coming from the light, remember we attract what's within us. So if you have a lot of negative thoughts and fears and darkness, guess what you're going to attract in your life? But as we eliminate that, you're not going to have these things. You're going to attract exactly what you're putting out there. The beauty, the light, the love that you are all about, and you're rediscovering and realizing your sense of power and really, really appreciating who you are. All of us have amazing gifts and talents. When we recognize and open to them, then we get to start using them, and you know, it's really gonna create a brand new confidence and awareness as to who you are. And what happens is you're gonna attract the people that have the same level of consciousness and awareness. You know, I tell people all the time when they have all these negative relationships, believe it or not, when you attract someone that is very difficult, there's something in them that's a reflection of you that you're here to learn about yourself from. And when we heal that, all of a sudden our vibrational frequency changes, and therefore it attracts people from your vibrational frequency, which is higher. So I talk to a lot of people about relationships with what it is that they keep attracting, because here's what I think about the horoscope. And I know all of you guys are on the same page as me. The horoscope is a sum accumulation of everything you have been in all of your lives, not just one, all of your lives. And therefore, the horoscope tells you what you're here to heal. Because if you don't, guess what? You're going to come back in the next life with the same issues over and over and over again. And that's what we keep doing because, you know, we're unaware. Nobody's really told us how or what it is that we're doing. And astrology is the best tool for this. So going forward, this is amazing. This dark moon, and in Western astrology, it's actually called the Baslamic moon, when it is behind the sun. And it is a time of deep introspection. Let's use it for that. This is amazing. Deep, deep introspection. So I'm going to go over a few tools today before we close about how you can do this. Now, the first tool that I absolutely love all the time to do is to light a candle. And remember, fire is inspiration and fire creates. Fire also destroys. So what I'm going to do, and I always light a candle when I do my readings or anything, just a little candle. It doesn't have to be a big, and remember always to turn it out or blow it out, I mean. But light a candle and realize that that flame is your intention, okay? Then I want you to deep breathe, go into a little meditation, but imagine what your life is going to be like as you change and rid yourself of all the negative beliefs from the past. Just, you don't have to think about all that past stuff because, you're giving it energy by thinking about it, but think about what you want to achieve in your future and make the intention that all this past hurt and energy is being released from your soul. Because remember, a lot of this past stuff comes from many lifetimes. It keeps reoccurring till you decide, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I don't want, of course, don't use those words because they could manifest. Be aware of your words and your speech, but just come from a place that you want to eliminate that which is not growth producing in your life from here on out. That's what I want you to say. And watch what you say. Watch what you think throughout the day. Be a fly on the wall and watch your reactions to things. And when you see yourself react in a negative way, realize that that's just a pattern because of the way you were raised in childhood. That's what makes up your emotional body, how you were treated as a child. That's why you respond the way you do to certain stimulus. But it's now time to change this. So I want you to, when you take your deep breaths and you meditate and you think about what you want to create, don't start thinking about a million things. Focus on one thing. Focus is very important. And that's why we're doing the candle exercise. So focus on that one thing. Take some deep breaths the way we did at the beginning and imagine the white light cleansing your body and cleansing your mind and consciousness. Then after you firmly get that vision of what it is, your intention is, then look at the candle. And I want you to gaze into that candle, into the fire, and put that intention there. That intention is going to manifest when you really use fire and the flame. Here, I'm gonna talk to you guys more. But when you use the flame, it really is empowering to create. So that's one exercise. Try to do this every day till we meet next week. And we'll talk about some of the experiences a lot of you have had with it. But don't overthink things. Some of us they get so like, you got to do this, got to do that. Don't overthink it. Allow yourself to be and allow the energy of the divine to work through you and to manifest what you want to make yourself happy. And that's the one exercise. Another exercise, which I think we're going to be talking about a lot in the future, is remember that our subconscious mind knows everything. And our subconscious mind is connected to the divine, to everything. Now, don't forget that every time you go to sleep at night, you are connected to your subconscious mind. What a powerful tool it is to use your dreams. That's the most incredible thing when you really think about our dreams being that important. And they are. It's our, how weird is that? We go to bed at night and all of a sudden we have these movies that are played in our mind. we don't think much of it, but it is astounding how cool that is. And your subconscious mind just releases things that you need to know and you need to heal from. So you've got to pay attention to your dreams. And I know a lot of you say, oh, I don't dream. Yes, you do. You just get up and you start going about your ways and you don't remember them. But right when you wake up, when you train yourself to remember your dreams, you'll be astounded at some of the messages you get. But I like the old Edgar Cayce technique that you take a glass of water, and right before you go to bed, if you want an answer to anything, and I have used this throughout my life, it's astounding. It works. Okay, but you got to work with things. So I'm telling you, if you take a glass of water before you go to bed, let's say you want to know if you should go on a trip or something like that. I did this one time. I said, should I go on this trip? And I stated my question out loud. And if you're married, you don't have to say it out loud so your husband doesn't think you're crazy. But but say it in your mind. Make that intention. Remember, this whole class today, my key word for all of us today is intention. So when you make this intention, just so powerful, say, I want to know if I should go on this trip. Of course, I'll be looking at the charts and the astrology of things, but but aside from that, sometimes we don't feel comfortable with maybe what the chart's saying. So I want to know if I'm going to go on a trip. So I drink half of the water. And also I say, and I will remember my dream. And I put the water by the side of the bed, and with a notepad or your phone, type it in, or either you can use the voice activation on your phone to record when you first wake up what your dream was. But when you wake up, finish the water and start recording your dream. You'll get your answer. I remember the time I asked if I should go on a trip. I was swimming in a swimming pool. For some reason, water is always in my dreams when it's telling me not to do something or something bad's about to happen. I was swimming in a swimming pool. And I remember I was getting out on the ladder and a voice said, no, don't go. No, don't go 3 times. So I canceled that trip and didn't go. But that's what I dreamt. Seriously, that was so clear. I mean, I couldn't see it any other way. So during this week, till next time, I want you guys to do the intention with the candle. We're going to come up with so many great tools that are going to help us grow. You're going to see this is going to be so much fun. I already showed you my book. I already showed you the candle of intention. And last but not least, using your dreams to get your answer. We connect to the subconscious mind that knows all. How powerful is that? So basically, that's pretty much what I wanted to bring out for the very first class today. I want to just make these classes short, like an hour, so that we can get on with our life. I thought maybe it's be good for many people's lunch breaks. But I want to also hear back from you. So I mean, I'll talk for an hour, or the speaker will talk for an hour, but I want to hear a little feedback. And one thing before you start talking, I want Shri to tell us about what her mother said about the water in dreams for healing. And then we'll let you guys say something. Go ahead, Shri.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were saying that story, Joni, I know we were talking about it yesterday, but my mom, she gave me this similar technique, right? I mean, it's very similar to what you're saying, but what the only difference is that, she asked to take a glass of water and you cup the top of the glass with your hand, right? I think this is connected to Reiki. I know there might be some of you on here who know Reiki. So, it's all about energy and, the flow of energy from your crown chakra through your arms, through to the palm of your hand. You can actually feel the warmth when you think about it. So she said, take this cup of water and cup the top with the, close the top with the palm of your hand. And, this is right before you sleep, right? So think about the question or whatever is troubling you, right? And at that point, I was really thinking about my father because he had passed away. And, there are some days when I miss him a lot. So think about that. And, imagine the energy, the light coming in through your crown chakra, going down the anahata chakra, down the arms, and you can actually feel a warmth, and imagine it going to the palm of your hand and into the water, right? That's in the glass. So you're charging the water with that intention, right? And then, once you have done that and you've really solidified that question in your mind, and I'm telling you guys, it's very hard for me because I get so distracted. I have so many things going on, all the things I want to do tomorrow, so quietening my mind is very difficult, but I'm trying, I'm getting there. So you put that in the water, you charge the water, right? That's what you call it. And you drink the entire glass, okay, and put the glass away. And then you go off to sleep, right? And sometimes they say you can even write on a piece of paper the question or the issue that's troubling you and put it under the glass when you're putting it away. So that way, it's still there, it's charged by that. And then when you wake up in the morning, through your dreams, you'll get the answer exactly like Joni said. And it's weird because the one time I did it, it's something that was about my dad, right? Because he passed away in 2012. He was only 65, so it was a sudden thing, and it has always troubled me because I didn't expect it, right? I mean, nobody expects it, but he was not sick or anything for a really long time, but it always troubled me. So when I bought this house in 2015, I was really sad that he never got to see it, right? And that was always in the back of my head, like, what's the point? Dad never saw this house, and because he would have been proud, right? I mean, we had a very close connection. But when I did this intention thing, that's what I asked. I asked, has Dad ever seen this house, right? I mean, like in spirit. And in my dream that night, and I'm not exaggerating, I saw such a vivid dream, and in the dream, I saw myself getting out of the bed, right? Because that's where I lie down to sleep, and walking out of my bedroom, and there's a stairs that come down, and I saw him coming down the stairs smiling. And I'm telling you, I'm still getting goosebumps when I talk about this. And it just brought such a wonderful sense of peace and happiness and just a closure for me, because it was always this incomplete thing in my mind. I woke up in the morning and I was in tears because, it was such a uplifting kind of experience for me. And that's what I had. And then I looked at the paper that I had written, that I put under the glass. That's exactly what I had written in there. Has dad ever come in spirit and seen this house? So that was my experience. And when Joni talked about this Edgar Casey, the intention technique that she was talking about, I was like, wow, that is very similar, So you're charging that water, you're making an intention to get an answer from your dream, to find a closure to something, or even just to something as simple as, do I need to travel or should I travel? Something like that, right? But that was really powerful, Joni, when you mentioned that. And I also want to say, when you talked about the third house, right? The breath, that was very eye-opening for me because, I always think of it as lungs from a medical astrology standpoint. I never thought of it as breath, And the other thing is the third house is the house of longevity, right? It's
that's true.
8th from the 8th. So when you take deep breaths, maybe that's how that is connected, because everybody says, we don't have enough oxygen in our bodies because we are always taking those shallow breaths. So, I think that was very powerful, what you said.
Thank you. And, because it just occurred to me, Shri, about the third house breath work. It just occurred to me this past week. And I was like, every time I have a realization about astrology, it's like, it's so relevant to, what we're trying to discover about ourselves. And, and like I say, in astrology, the third house is our courage, our life force. And that's why, the second house is the house of the Marika, because that life force is it's 12th from the third. But man, that just made me awake.
It's 8th from the 8th. So, it's
and the 8th from the 8th
it's connected to
wow.
Yeah.
So powerful. Okay. Anybody else comment? Hi, Geeta.
Yeah. Hi.
So good to see you.
I know, Shri, you know why your mom said that? Because as we all know, energy cannot be created or destroyed. And most of us know that in our palm of the hand and the feet, we have trigger points for each and every
True.
organ.
Yes.
So what happens is this, I do this practice every day after yoga and meditation is you rub your hands, and we can all do this right now. We rub, 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 and you feel the warmth, the energy, and then this energy we are transferring all the positive, and we go over the crown, we come down the spine, and especially we take a pause, we go all the way, arms, legs, shoulder. Let's say my left shoulder is hurting, I'll pause a little, supply the energy flow. This is a very ancient Vedic technique. It creates the flow. You know, the blockages, the energy blockages from one chakra to the other, we come into the flow.
You know, that's interesting, Geeta, because when Shri was talking and when you were talking, in terms of trying to get our answers from our dreams, you know how I just said, hold the water? I think it's important now to do what Shri said, to hold your hand and put the intention in the water that we want to get our answer from our dreams, not just hold it outright, but, you know, do exactly what you and Shri are talking about. Put our where that energy center is in the palm on top, to infuse that water with our intention, not just say it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you know how we feel good when we are petting our pets. You see, this action with the baby, we're putting the baby to sleep, or when we hug each other, you know how we rub each other's back. This is, we create the energy. It is all, it is science. It's so true. And Joni, if you don't mind, if you can put up the chart, I have something incredible I saw.
Okay, and you know what else about it? I wanted to say this, I forgot, there's so many things I wanted to say, but here, I'll shred. And somebody asked if this is being recorded. Yes, it is. Here's the chart, but let me just say, there's a reason why I'm wearing red today, everyone, because it's Tuesday, and Tuesday's ruled by Mars. And Mars is that planet of red, fire, blood, courage. And I really wanted to exemplify that we're here to burn off the negative karma in our life. And maybe that's what that Mars Saturn conjunction can be all about for us, burning off the negative karma from the past. But Mars is that planet of pure energy, and we need to use it more. Go ahead, Geeta, I'm sorry.
So the first thing I saw was 11, and most of us know 11 are the angel numbers.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I said, oh, no wonder Joni opened it up for 11 o'clock. Then the next thing I saw, the ascendant. So most of us know the first house, the fifth house, and the ninth house is like our life purpose. So the purpose of our series is right there in a snapshot, and it's in the earth element, because we all need grounding.
Yeah, you're right.
Good. And yeah, and then I saw it's so incredible when you were talking about the ascension, that picture that came up, and the same thing came on the chart. And now if you see the BP where it says BP, so yeah, that's like the destiny of this chart, and it goes in Hasta Nakshatra, and Hasta is a healer.
Wow, true.
Yeah, and Hasta means hands. It literally means hands. And I well, right now we just discussed about hands, how hands can
Here we are talking about charging the water with the hands.
right. And then another thing I saw is because, you know, my natal moon is 27 degrees in Aquarius. 27 degrees, 22 minutes is my natal moon. So you see all the Jupiter and Neptune is within the degree of my natal moon.
Yeah.
And so I've really studied Purva Bhadrapad, and they say it's like a two-faced person. So there are two heads. One is looking in the past and one is looking in the future.
Yes.
So here we are in the present, right? But we want to heal, and we can, you know how we heal? We change the past. And when we heal, it changes the future.
That's
So
right.
yeah, and also Purv Bhadrapad means happy feet. So it's happy beginnings for all of us. Yeah.
That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Can I share one more powerful thing you said?
Okay.
I mean,
But let's let other people talk too, but go ahead. I do want to hear.
yeah, this is really like what you said. You know how you were talking about the new moon. So the new moon is called Amavasya in Vedic, and Amavasya is the day for ancestors. And when you said that we never die, we change bodies and we are reborn. So what happens is we are our ancestors.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, yes.
Yes.
And see how the moon is approaching that Amavasya, the new moon date. I mean, the whole chart is incredible. And this is the last thing, okay? Because it's all in the chart. You know, this when you talked about Saturn and Mars coming together, this is what came to me. Samudra Manthan, you know, how the churning of the ocean. So we, all of us today, we go deep down, dive in, churn, 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 and let whatever is in the subconscious rise and heal.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Thank you. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Really helpful. Okay. Anyone else want to add anything to all of what we spoke about today? Okay, are y'all too afraid to speak up? No, if there's anything you want to ask questions about what we talked about, if something unclear, I want to hear you, okay?
All right, I'll go.
Hi, Joni. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mine's real quick. This morning, what came to my mind, I always light a candle in the morning and put on soft music and have my cup of coffee,
Nice.
is New Beginnings came to my mind. And then I looked over to the television and the song that was playing was Begin Again. And then seeing the photo that you brought up, the image, to me reminded of, you know, ascension and resurrection and hope. And it was just crazy.
Well,
Isn't it amazing how all the minds are connected and we are all kind of thinking, when one person thinks the same thing, you know, everybody else is kind of getting that. It's like a wave that hits you. So amazing.
And that was another thing. Maybe we'll talk about this in greater detail next week, but to look for the signs like you just did. Look for the signs throughout the day. The universe is always communicating with us. We just have to pay attention and look at it, because I mean, it's amazing. There is, you know, everything is happening for a reason. There is a divine force connecting all of us, and even connecting events to speak to us through symbols and signs. I love that about the TV and all of that. We got to look for symbols and signs like that. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Somebody else had something to say.
Oh, I wanted to say that well, thank you so much for this, offering this, and I really appreciate that. But I wanted to say that my moon is at 29 degrees of Pisces, and Jupiter and Neptune are going to be right at that 29th degree of Pisces. And we all know that's like Gandanta, you know, and all that. Yeah. But I just wanted to know.
Actually, it's not though, because it's going to be at 29 degrees of Aquarius.
Oh, okay, not Pisces. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, but you know what? Eventually, I mean, Neptune's going to take 12 years till it gets to the 29 mark of Pisces. But on the 13th, or the 12th, Jupiter is going to go into Pisces. But Jupiter is going to go into Pisces from 29 degrees Aquarius. And then Neptune's going to follow. And so they're going to come together at 0 degrees of Pisces, not 29 Pisces. But go ahead. I thought maybe you
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that clarifies that. That was yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else?
I'll share. I pulled a tarot card before we started, and I pulled the sun.
Oh my
So
Wow.
I thought that was beautiful.
Favorite card of the whole deck.
Yes, it's life force, energy, vitality, childlike.
Can I see it
enthusiasm.
once more? Can I see it once more?
Oh
the
yes,
card?
yes.
Oh wow.
My lighting's bad, but
Okay.
Yeah,
the sun.
I love that card. It's just
Beautiful.
joy and happiness. Yeah.
Yes.
This is great. What a great group of people we have here today. Anything?
Joni, I don't have a question or anything, but I just wanted to say thank you for doing this because I'm very new to Vedic astrology and just trying to learn through you. And I just love you to death. Every time you come on, my husband's walking through and he hears you and he says, "Oh, you're listening to her again." I just love you. And I thank you for doing this. I have 2 yods in my chart. So I'm trying to figure out astrology and it's just helpful to have this group as well, because just recognizing that everybody else is getting the same thing that I'm getting within this group, it's comforting because sometimes you start to feel really alone out here in the matrix. So thank you all so much for all of this. It's wonderful. And I appreciate it so much.
I love that you called it the Matrix.
That's what I call it all the time. I'm like, nope, not going out in the matrix today.
That's my favorite trilogy. I mean, now they have
Right?
a 4th movie, but it's, I consider the first 3 as the trilogy.
Exactly. But thank you all very much.
Thank you.
It's definitely wonderful to have other people to be able to talk to and listen to and learn from, because obviously for me personally, I don't have anybody in my reality, physical reality, that understands this. They know I love it and they love me, and that's it.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
But you know what? They're starting to all listen. They're starting to all listen because I kept giving, like, oh, astrology says this is going to happen. Oh, according to astrology, this is what's about to happen. And at first, it was kind of like whatever. And now they're stopping and listening.
Yeah, finally.
Right.
Good. All right. Anyone else want to add something?
Joni, I want to, and it starts with your red dress. So if you'll go back to that chart.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Let me share the screen.
What you said was so profound, and then the chart just jumped. You wore, today's Tuesday, it's Mars Day, you wore a red dress. We know Mars is the planet of courage. And if you do the aspects, the 4th and the 8th aspect of Mars cracks me up. The 4th aspect hits the 12th house of the other side, letting go. And what are we doing? We are trying to let go of the darkness and bring in the light.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at what is Kritika, cutting out the darkness. And what is Bharani? Bharani is ruled by Venus, and it is the bearer of new life.
Yes.
Wow.
Then you take the 8th aspect, which hits Leo over here in the 4th house. So the sun rules Leo. We go find the sun, and it's sitting up in the 11th house of Pisces with Mercury. What is 11th house? It's community.
Yeah.
It's gathering, and sun is our Atma. And sun is our light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just love the chart. I just love the moment and the day that you chose to create this group.
That is so profound, Madeline.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm wearing red next week. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, the planets rule different colors and the days. So, some people really honor that. I usually don't. Let me just tell you, if I feel like wearing blue today, I'm going to wear blue. But I did red just because of this.
I don't think I have any reds. I think all I have are blacks and grays. I'm not very fashion forward, but I'll probably find something that's red.
No, let's get you in some color.
I know, right? That's what all my friends say, but
It's fun. I love color, you know?
Numerology does that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I
So,
chime in? Sorry. I just wanted to say that my loves are Vedic astrology, studying Vedanta with Shivananda Ashram, Bahamas, because they have online classes.
mhm.
And I'm also an intuitive in a group with some other intuitives. And I don't believe in accident or coincidence or anything like that, but I ran across Joni on YouTube randomly not too long ago. And I was so impressed because all of your messages are right in line with the messages we're getting from the ashram with Vedanta and timing, the messages I'm getting in my intuitive group. None of those people study Vedanta. None of them are into any of this stuff. So I love the congruence of the three separate places all coming into the same message. And one thing that we've been doing energetically is trying to bring in this new paradigm. And in the most recent channeling, and this is a channeler that's been channeling for 20 years, and they said that it's now set. This new paradigm is in motion. And so all of the things that we're doing are right in line with it. And as an energy worker, I'm very sensitive to group energy. And I didn't realize that this was even possible, but all these online classes I've taken, you can, in the meditations that we do, you can feel that group energy because we are all connected. So I just wanted to say, like, what a great group of people and how excited I am to be here. And so I just wanted to say thank you, but that everything is right in line with all of these other things. And so I'm just really excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
thank you.
Because I got to say this, it took a lot of courage to do this. I was like, you know, I don't know why I'm being called to do this. And I can't stand people that, you know, become like a cult or something. I just want to bring people together to heal. And that's whatever happens, happens. The divine will guide us, right? Thank you.
And Joni, I know you talked about this, but maybe in one of the classes you can teach us how to make that vision book.
Mhm.
And also, I know a long time ago you were talking about making a vision board for
Yeah.
positive manifestation. You know, you said
Yes.
you've done that in the past. So that would be something that you could teach us how to do.
Okay, good. Well, we've got many classes. Remember, we're going to be meeting every week. So every week we're going to be getting something out of this. We're going to be growing. It's going to keep us on track too, because you know, it's just like you do something and you forget about it and you go, oh, that was fun, but nothing came of it because you're not doing it on a regular basis. And that's what I think is important about doing this every week on a regular basis. And I mean, I have some amazing people who are going to speak with us at the end of the month. So they're very well known. A lot of them, I don't know if y'all know who Joe Vitale is, but I've worked with him for 30 years. And it was like before he was even on The Secret. I mean, that was like, you know, groundbreaking. I know The Secret, that it was just the beginning. I know it wasn't like, you know, this is the way you do it, but it was just the beginning that people start to realize the power of their thought. And we're going to take that to a new level with what we're doing here. Okay.
Hi, Joni, it's Lynn.
Hi.
I missed the very first like 6 or 7 minutes of the call, but is anyone else struggling? Like this last 3 days have been some of the hardest I've been through in a while.
Yeah, a lot of people are. That's why we're having this class right now. So we can let go of all of these struggles and what it's all about. And I know probably that sounds kind of airy-fairy if you're going through something, you know, really, really tough. But really, we have to change our consciousness, because what's going on, that's a big struggle, has a lot to do with what's going on within you. And so we are going to help you change that. So don't focus so much on the struggle. Focus on how we're going to change this from a struggle to healing the struggle that you're going through right now. And this is just the first class. We are going to be working with many, many tools and techniques that I've learned through, you know, my last 40 years of working with all of this. So this is just the beginning. So realize that by participating and coming together, you're going to alleviate a lot of your struggles right now. Okay. And I know we can't do it in 1 hour, but we're going to get there. Okay. I promise you. So is that what you're kind of talking about?
Yes, I wasn't sure if you like addressed that at the beginning, but thank you.
Yeah, the reason why I'm doing this is because of where I see the planets going, and I wanted to help.
I don't want to go crazy.
Right. No,
I feel like I'm going crazy.
I know, but no, try those exercises that I gave you at the end with the flame. Try that every day till we meet next week, okay? And
Yes, thank you.
And I want to hear if anything's changed for you. That plus ask your dreams why you're going through this. Give me the answer so that I know how to heal this. Okay.
Thank you.
2 tools. Okay.
Joni, I didn't catch the name of the classmate that said that she's struggling. But I would just like to offer my support because with 2 yods in my chart, I definitely have my periods of super big struggle. So I just wanted to say that, you're not alone and you can reach out to me, and I'm sure probably anybody else, that's hearing the class. And this is a safe group that if you want to reach out to one of us, I would certainly, I've got lots of time.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I agree. I mean, we are all a family here, and I think this group is here to uplift each other. So we're all here for you.
Yes, absolutely. Let's all work together to uplift everyone, all of us together. That's why we're together. We are not separate. We're one. So we're here to help everyone. And yeah, this is about community, getting to know people that think like you again. Isn't that great? It's something that we feel very alone with so much because, I used to do all these predictions for my family. They totally believe in it now because, I had to prove to them through the predictive work that this stuff really works, but all the spiritual techniques work as well. So yes, we're here to help everyone. Y'all reach out and we'll talk. Okay.
Hi, Joni, this is Carrie. I recently came across your work and was just so instantly attracted to what you're doing and what you're saying and the vibration that you're holding. And even as an astrologer, we've had one session and I was so impressed and very much aligned with how you use astrology to help people grow. And it's always a very positive, slant, because you can look at a chart and you can see difficult things coming up, but the way that you address them and approach them and lay them out for people is just so constructive and so helpful. And I really, really align with that and am looking forward to studying with you and learning more. Definitely new to Vedic in the last year, loving it, think it's incredible. And when this opportunity came up to join this series, I just felt instantly, with your focus being on raising the vibration and focusing on the positive, it's such a powerful moment because to speak to Lynn, we are coming out of and still in the eye of the needle, so to speak. And, a lot of dark energy around us. And so this is a way for you're in the perfect place, Lynn, and for all of us to hold this container that Joni's creating to really infuse it with our love, and the power of our love and our consciousness and our awareness is just really powerful. So I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you and just really want to thank you, Joni, for having the courage to put this together. This is really going to be extraordinary.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're part of it. Let me just say that. I'm glad everyone's here. It's just, I know everyone's here for a reason.
Joni, my name's Angie, and I've been studying Vedic astrology, Jyotish, with my teacher in India, and he doesn't do regular ongoing trainings with us. So I started following you, and I just love you. You have such a light about you. And when I signed up for this, I was just a little unsure about learning from someone other than my teacher.
Mhm.
But I was really happy to see that this Zoom format is set up this way so that we can connect, because it's like we're all creating this grid of light around the planet. And like in this moment, you can feel that vibrational energy, and it's just really incredible. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm very, very honored to be here with you. And I'm happy that I get to just be part of this group and to learn from all of you. So thank you all for being here and showing up and choosing the path of evolution.
Exactly.
Recording in progress.
Somebody's trying to record something. Anyway, thank you for saying that. That is so, it's amazing that I didn't expect very many people to know so much astrology in this class, but they do. But I want this to be open to everyone. So we're going to make it real plain and simple. And how can we use the stars to give us guidance? That's what they're for. Yes. So thank you.
I think, Joni, that was a great thought, now that we've heard from this audience as well, to make this a Zoom session and not a webinar. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Jessica, can you mute your microphone?
Okay. All right. Thank you. They did. Okay. Any last thoughts? Let's take this to the half hour and we will close. Okay.
I just want to say something quickly.
Yes.
First of all, I don't know how I got on your newsletter, but I look forward every time I get an email from you. I'm like, oof. And I've been doing spiritual work in a channel, and I've been doing this work for 40 years at least. But I've been going through a particularly challenging period of Rahu, Venus and Rahu. I'm just sort of learning a little more about it, but it's been a really, really challenging personal time. So it's hard to be a channel when you're sort of having your whole family structure change and everything else. So I'm so grateful to be here. And I thank you for putting this together and listening to your intuitive guidance about putting a group together of like-minded people. And thank you very, very much for the work you do.
Thank you. Boy, I'm so happy all of y'all are here. I can't tell you. I was like, scared, of course, all of your fears come up. Go, what if nobody joins? What if it doesn't work? What if, but that's normal that we have those fears that come up in our mind. And something just said, have courage. Something said, have courage and be confident that what you're trying to achieve will occur. And so here we are.
Miss Joni.
Don't we have to listen to that voice? But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Joni, I've been with you for 15 years now. I don't know. I appreciate your evolution and how you've really, you're of service to humanity. And that is, I think every single person here can feel it no matter how long that they've been following you. So from the bottom of my heart, I love you. And just the way you set this up as a forum for us to come together, love one another, and try to really raise the frequency of consciousness is, that's where we're at. So thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, Jessica, I think you need to mute. Let me mute everyone.
Jessica, are you trying to talk? I don't know if
Okay, I muted everyone, but now if you want to talk, unmute yourself. So let's take a few more. You guys are amazing. I want to hear more.
Hi, my name's Joan. I'm from Montreal.
Hi.
We're in the cold. Somebody had talked about the isolation that they were feeling and the period that we just went through with all of the lockdowns and everything. And I think that we're coming out of that, like you had said also, that this by mid-March, it would be in the rearview mirror. And I think that we're in the period of that emergence from that, feeling isolated, quarantine. I kind of liken it to that eighth house metamorphosis of the butterfly, where they're all by themselves in the cocoon. They're transforming from, a caterpillar to this mushy stuff, and then turns into the butterfly. And then it takes a struggle to get out of there, but the force, the struggling that they're going to go through pushes the blood to the ends of their wings, and then they can fly. And if somebody helped them out of that, they would just fall on the floor and die. And they need to have that, push, that struggle to get through. So anybody who's feeling, bad or like it's tough, it's tough for a reason. And you're going to look back and you're going to say, hey, I did that. I went through that. I didn't give up, and I pushed and I got out, like the baby being born too. So I feel like we're in that, and you're really helping us. You're like the midwife. You're helping us all by giving us this opportunity to go and understand and listen to the stars and see that, don't paddle against the stream. Don't paddle against the current, go with it, know what's happening, but you got to still go through it. So that's I really appreciate this whole forum and all the open-minded people and open-hearted people that are here.
That is so cool, Joan. And Madeline, when Joan was talking, I was thinking, there's your Bharani reference again.
Yes, and also it would be great if you study Aikido, which is you use the energy to your advantage, both positive and negative.
Yes.
Joan, you're so brilliant. I just love having you as my student. And I love that analogy of the butterfly. God bless you.
Thanks, Madeline.
So nobody else wants to say anything? I guess, yeah, we're at the half hour. So
Can I just ask one question?
of course.
As we talk about the planetary collective chart, can we also talk about some of the transits as the weeks go by and ways of understanding them a little bit more? That would be one thing I'd love to learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great idea. I'm open to ideas. So thank you for giving me that. Next week, we'll talk about some of the transits. We'll make it, though, if any of you guys don't understand astrology, we'll make it so that you can understand. It's just that we're taking the energy from the planets so that we can apply them to our lives. And that's what we all need here. How can we apply this energy for our lives to grow and not be fearful and, oh, the end of the world's coming? The end of the world's not coming. So we're all here. We have opportunities, and I want to look at the planetary energy as the opportunities for growth. Yes. Okay. So we'll do next week. Okay. One last comment. I just want to make sure everybody got a chance to say what they wanted to say. Okay, I guess we're good, right? Okay, well, this was the very first class. I am thrilled, beside myself, that all of you decided to show up and work together to grow on a level never before, that we're all going to have achievements, spiritual achievements, where we become aware, and most of all, help ourselves in the world, our life, our families, everyone around us. So I wanted to really have like practical means of doing so, not like all these, out there crazy things that nobody can do. Let's do the things that we can really implement daily in our lives to change our lives for the better and grow spiritually. So I'll close with that. Thank you again, everyone. Namaste for coming on and joining me. We'll have this recording. Shri will have this recording for you guys to watch over and over again. All right.
I'll send the link out by end of day today or early tomorrow morning. Okay.
All right. Thank you again, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right.